guys, good morning, good afternoon. How is everyone? Happy Friday. Yep, as you can see, Purple Valkyrie is flying solo today, so hope you guys don't mind. How is everyone? It's been an interesting week, hasn't it, guys? Let's see who joined me today. I know Paris was first, so thank you for that, Pat. Good morning to you. We have got James Andrew Morrison. Good afternoon, love. Colin P. Smith. Good afternoon to you. Davey Sound. Welcome. Good to see you. Psychodorf. Good to see you, sweetheart. And Geek Inside. Happy friggin' Friday to you too. Mark the Infinitely Tired. Hey, Mark. Good to see you, hon. Rambling Canuck. Good morning. Good to see you. Jester of Sin. Good afternoon. Let me see who else has joined. Darth Haster. Good morning, love. Good to see you. Dee Dee, good to see you. Good morning, Dee Dee. Welcome. Let me get down to the bottom in case it skips on me, because it always does. Martin Orlando, good to see you. Good morning. Dave Bob, Joe time, exactly. Hey, Dave Bob. Good afternoon to Danny Boy. Welcome. And I think I've got a new one. Oh, no. Chris Badger. There you are, sweetheart. Good to see you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me. And hello to Sit Room. Hey, guys. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you today. I was having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out what am I going to talk about. I tried to leave the week on something a little bit fun. So I thought, well, in the past we've talked about films, we've talked about directors. How about somebody who has a lot of influence in the making of films? And for me, what makes a great big difference to a film is the effects that are used. Not so much CGI anymore, but practical effects. I love to see something that's been made by somebody that's actually tangible, that actors can work with. Probably the best example I could give for that would be Jurassic Park. And that's where Stan Winston comes in. Probably one of the most talented creature creators out there. And this idea actually came from a book that I have on my shelf, which I'd highly recommend. I'll turn the camera on in a minute and I'll show you what it is. But I've always been a fan of his work and Stan Winston Studios. And it wasn't until I kind of got the book and then I did a little bit more research on him that I realised just how many films he's actually been involved in. Everything from Jurassic Park to Terminator to the Alien movies, right back up until Edward Scissorhands. Mark, yes, I will absolutely be doing a Ray Harryhausen one as well, but you're going to have to promise to join me for that one. That would be awesome. Perez, yes, T2. That's when I first saw the Terminator, I couldn't believe that was actually a practical effect. And when you see it in real life, it looks incredible. Oops, who else have we got? Hey guys, hello Louise, hello to Pod Racing Palpatine, and hello to Naughty Monkey Oraf. Welcome guys, thank you for joining me. Colin P. Smith asks, did Stan ever work with Ray Harryhausen? I don't believe so, but I would imagine he was certainly influenced by him if that was the case. And yes, the Chronicles of Narnia, another one. I always thought that those films were kind of underrated. I enjoyed them, I've got to admit, especially the first one. I would have really liked to have seen the rest of the Narnia books made into films. Let me turn the camera on a second and I'll show you the book that I'm talking about, and then I can go into a little bit more detail as to why I love Stan Winston and why he is so talented. This book is enormous. It's a big... Oh my god, there we go. Okay, I'm going to rest it on my shoulder. Hey guys, good to see you. Let me see if I can take the glare off, but that is the book I'm talking about. Art and History of Stan Winston Studios, and this goes into really great detail on how he made the characters, you know, the concept art, especially when Alien, how he was influenced by H.R. Giger's work. So it's really, really impressive. Let me pull up a few of the films that he's worked on, and we can kind of go over them. So, as I said before, probably the first one that I ever saw that I connected with him was Edward Scissorhands. Um, Also a really big fan of Tim Burton, but I didn't realise that the the gloves, obviously, that Johnny Depp wears were made by Stan Winston Studios. And I think I've seen kind of behind the scenes what he's being fitted for them, and they did multiple versions of these gloves. You know, some of them looked more like scissors, some of them looked more like just kind of shards of metal. And I think they went through several designs until they hit on one that worked. Geek Inside, that's a gorgeous book. It is. I highly recommend it. This one, I think there's two different versions. This is the slightly more limited edition version, but there is a more mass market version as well out there. It's easy to find. You can find it on Amazon. But I'd highly recommend it if you like to have a little bit more detail about what goes into the making of these films. So I'm not sure if anyone is like me, but I do love to see practical effects. I love to see costumes. I love to see animatronics. You know, just the work that goes into them. It always blows me away. And obviously, he's also always he's worked quite closely with James Cameron quite a lot. So a lot of Cameron's films. Whether it was used with makeups, puppets, practical effects, the Stan Winston Studios were behind those, and the same with Spielberg for the Jurassic Park films. But that's probably the one that kind of blew me away the most. What does Tara say? The Wiz. Does anyone remember the Laughter Purple Valkyrie? I remember the film, most definitely. Geek Inside, practical effects are way better than CGI effects. I agree. I always thought CGI should be used to enhance rather than just be soul effect that's used. Because I think films that have too much CGI, they kind of take away because your eyes. It's a distraction rather than an enhancement of what you're seeing. Um, what does Mark say? Mark says John Dis Discara and Ben Burrett are top of my list. Nice. But going back to Jurassic Park, I think that's probably one of the films that hit me the most when I saw the dinosaurs. Because when I was younger than I am now when this film came out, and I didn't realise that they were actually animatronics. And to see the behind the scenes of these creatures being built, and I think the T-Rex still exists, if I remember correctly. It's actually in storage. This thing is life-sized. The attention to detail that went into it, and to get the movements correct, to get the sound correct. When they shine the light into the T-Rex's eye when it's looking into the car and its pupil contracts, that's not CGI. That's an actual practical effect. And yeah, absolutely, North Monkey enhanced rather than replacement. Say enhanced purple. Okay, I will. And Psychodraw says CGI should be a tool in the bag, not the whole show. Absolutely. And good morning, low spec Linux laptop. Good to see you, hon. But I think one of my favourite stories was the Triceratops that they made. Um, they painted it up. It was beautiful. It's green underneath, and it's got these really beautiful bands across it. And the people that made it put huge effort into it and real attention to detail. And then Spielberg saw it and said it's too bright, so they had to get a load of mud and dirt and cover this thing. So in the film, it's almost like a kind of browny grey colour. but if it was washed off, you'd see that it's actually a deep green. Um, so I always felt a little bit sorry for whoever made that Triceratops. I would have loved to seen it in its real colours, but I suppose living out in the park, you can kind of understand why it wouldn't be so bright, why it would have its colours a little bit more muted. And good morning, Project Storytime. Good to see you. Oh, no notifications again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't get a notification either when I set the stream up. So, but thank you for joining us. And good morning, boss. Good to see you, Loki. CGI has taken over so much of the special effects in a film that it has done a true disservice to the real magic makers of the industry. I completely agree. Um, I think we talked as well, we've talked about Henson in the past, another great example of somebody who used practical effects and used them incredibly well. Um, so I know that pod racing costume should be in WBA colours. I know that practical effects can sometimes be very expensive, unfortunately, but the attention to detail and the love that goes into making these things, and these, I think it helps the actors as well. If I remember correctly, Chris Pratt said that one of the easier filming for the last couple of Jurassic Park films was when he could actually interact with the dinosaurs, because most of the dinosaurs in the newest Jurassic Park films have all been solely CGI. One of the few scenes where he does actually interact with something that's real is when he's comforting a dying dinosaur and he puts his hands on it, and that's a animatronic. And he said it was much easier to be in the moment with this thing that he could actually act with, rather than like a ball on a stick that he's got to pretend is a dinosaur. So I think it definitely helps the actors as well as the audience. So going back to Stan Winston himself, he has sadly passed away since he died in 2008. He was actually born on April 7th, so just a little bit of trivia. But his career first kind of started, I believe, in the 1970s. He made the costumes for the Star Wars holiday special. He designed the Wookiee costumes, and as someone said in the chat, also he was special makeup designer for the Wiz. But I think it was kind of the 80s and 90s when he really kind of came into his own. Um, Obviously, he worked on The Thing. He worked on Terminator, which is probably one of his most famous creations, and Aliens. And the look of the aliens, I think, translated so well on screen. To see these creatures brought to life, and they're not the easiest creatures, because if you've ever seen H.R. Geiger's original designs of them, they are very abstract looking things, and he actually brought them to life brilliantly. Um, so what else has he worked on? Edward Scissorhands, as I said. He worked on Predator, Monster Squad. So they were the people behind the designs of the kind of creature from the Black Lagoon creature. Predator 2. One of his more famous creations is actually Pumpkinhead, which I used in the thumbnail today. Oops, skipped on me. Sorry, guys. Perez says one of the last two guys in The Thing, the alien. They kind of implied that they did. Yes, yeah. Watch the last scene again when he takes a swig from the bottle, and you'll see which one's the real guy. Thank you, Canuck. I'm trying. Um, Not used to flying solo, as you can tell, but I will do my best for you guys. And thank you, everyone, for joining me. I do appreciate you. Let's have a look. What else did he do? Jurassic Park, as I said. He worked closely with Cameron. I think they did a lot of work on Titanic as well. They worked on a film called Ghost in the Darkness, which if anyone's seen that, it's kind of an obscure film now. It's got Val Kilmer and Kirk Douglas in, but Stan Winston Studios were the creators behind the two lions in the film. Um, he also worked on pretty much all of the Terminator films. Steven Spielberg's AI, they were the ones behind the teddy bear, so that's a Stan Winston creation. And then in the 2000s, again, he kept with the Terminator franchise and again with the Jurassic World franchise, and kept that going. Yes, Colin, that's the one. Yeah, it's based on a true story about man hunting lions. Yeah, it's a pretty good film. I think it's pretty good. But it's a little bit kind of obscure now. And Mark asked, did he work on The Abyss? I'm not sure actually. He might have done. Let me check, Mark. Um, doesn't say if he did, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he didn't have some sort of kind of ties to it as well. Pod Racing Palpatine, practical effects can't be beat. I've been to several Star Wars, DC, and Harry Potter exhibits. Yes, I've seen a few, but I would love to see if they ever did kind of dedicated just to Stan Winston's films. That would be amazing, just to see some of these, like Predator in person, to see a Velociraptor, or to see Alien Queen. That would be amazing, just to see the work that goes into these things. And Mark D with a C, welcome. Happy Friday. Winston was a genius, a combination of engineer and artist. He really was. Yeah, he knew what he wanted in his creations, and he he was very meticulous, and he was a very talented sculptor as well. So a lot of the maquettes before the creatures ever came into creation, they were all sculpted, and he did a lot of that himself. Cam, welcome. Good to see you. Papa Valkyrie, morning. Good morning. Flying solo today and holding it down beautifully. Thank you. Hope Sammy Joe is having a lot of fun. Me too. Yep, Sammy is on vacation at the moment, so hope she's having a wonderful time as well. And Paris said, "Big Fish. Don't see that movie with your dad if you don't want to cry in front of him. Great effects though." Yes, that was Burton as well, wasn't it? If I remember correctly. Geek inside. When I watched Jurassic Park in the theatre, I was blown away. It was like the dinosaurs were real. Same, same. When I first saw I think the first one that we ever see is the Brontosaurus or Brachiosaurus, where the shot pans out, and obviously that's just CGI. But to see them much closer, when the T-Rex attacks, when the Dilophosaurus attacks, that was actually the one that scared me the most. I hated that dinosaur. I was fine with the T-Rex, I was fine with the Velociraptors, but that spitting dinosaur, I was like, nope, I'm out. Even though I know it doesn't exist, there's just something about that thing that really freaked me out. I think it was because it was so small and harmless looking. We have a T-Rex, mind blown. If I remember correctly, they actually made two T-Rexes, because one of them got destroyed in the third Jurassic Park. They actually had it have battle these two animatronics. So the I think it was the Spinosaur and the T-Rex kind of went at it, and they just wrecked the hell out of this T-Rex animatronic. So there's only one left now, unfortunately. Um, but I'd still love to see it. Mark see Winston started his own company. The first move to feature use effects was Gargoyles, not the Disney version in 1972. Nice. See, that film I haven't seen, I've got to admit. I was kind of going back to see what his first film he had an influence on was, and for me, it definitely was Edward Scissorhands. I love that film. I'm gonna have to watch that again for Christmas. It's on my Christmas rotation. But he's worked in the past with Tim Burton, as I said, James Cameron, obviously Aliens and Terminator, the two franchises, and he also worked with him on Avatar. Now, presumably, had he not passed away, he would still be working with him for the upcoming Avatar films. He worked with John Carpenter for The Thing and Starman, Jon Favreau for Zathura, a space adventure, and for Iron Man as well. Who else do you work with? Spielberg, obviously, for Jurassic Park, Lost World, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, and Robert Zemeckis as well. He's worked with in the past. I think Stan Winston and Stan Winston Studios are kind of at the top of their game. They're kind of the other than Weta, I would say they're the go-to for practical effects for the film industry. Now, Weta were more famous for the miniatures or bigatures, as they were called, rather than their creature creations. But Stan Winston was always about the creatures on screen, and that's where his passion lay. And he actually won Academy Awards for his works. He won an Oscar in '87 for Best Visual Effects in Aliens. He won 2 in '92 for visual effects and makeup for Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And he won again in '94 for Best Visual Effects for Jurassic Park. So it's nice to see that his hard work and his attention to detail didn't go unrewarded. He's probably one of the people that I would have liked to have met. I think he would have been an interesting guy to sit down and talk to. I don't think there's very many interviews with him that I've seen. I did go looking when I was researching the Today Show, but he seems to have been a guy that really enjoyed his work. You know, it was all about bringing these creations to life, bringing them on screen, and having his vision seen. What are you guys saying in the chat? Let me have a look. James Andrew Morrison, good afternoon, love. I like Gargoyles, but it's panned by critics, but it's great fun. I'm trying to think if I've ever actually seen it. I don't think I have, you know. But if you guys would recommend it, I will look it up. I know of it, but yeah. Mark D with a C, Gargoyles is one of my favourite horror movies. The creatures and makeup Winston came up with were amazing. I'm gonna have to watch this now. If you guys recommend it. You guys are talking about Constantine as well. Constantine should be blonde in English, but I can't blame that on Stan. The effects at the end were great. Yes, they were. I like Constantine, I've got to admit. I have a soft spot for Keanu Reeves. Probably one of my favourite scenes is when he's dying and he's going up to heaven and he just kind of flips him off. That's so cool. But yeah, it was a really good film. Let's see if there's anything else that I've missed that he might have done. You guys mentioned Constantine, um, Big Fish, Galaxy Quest. That was the one that I missed. He was the Stan Winston were the creators behind all of the aliens, all of the Saras, the bad guy. He's the they came up with his design, and the part that moves on his head, like the little antenna. That's all animatronics. Small Soldiers. That's one I haven't seen for a really long time. You guys remember Small Soldiers? Um, so all of those, I think at the time they were some of the most complicated animatronics ever made. These little action figures that were designed to move. I think it's one of those films that kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. Um, I quite liked it. But I think that was DreamWorks, if I remember correctly, made that one. Galaxy Quest is one of the best Star Trek movies. I'd agree with that. It was a love letter to Star Trek. Great film, Small Soldiers. I enjoyed it as well, I've got to admit. And Steve Mitchum still not getting notifications. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, it's been that way for a while. Unfortunately, I think it's just YouTube being YouTube. Colin P. Smith says, I always think of Matt Ryan when you mention Constantine. I loved Matt Ryan as Constantine. I thought he played a really good role. I thought he definitely brought that character to life. Let me see, what else did I miss? Um, Lake Placid, not a great film, but the crocodile in it is pretty cool, I would admit. Hi, Eddie. Monster Squad, Predator, Aliens. Oh, okay, that's one I didn't know. They worked on the TV series Manimal as well. So they did the Panther and Hawk transformations. They were behind those. That's pretty cool. I did not know that one. And I think the last film that he worked on before he died was Shutter Island, which I never liked. I've got to admit, it wasn't a great film. Let's see, what are you guys saying? James Andrew Morrison says, I'd like to see Jason Statham have a go at Constantine. I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Have a look. If I grab that book again, see if I can give you an idea of what it looks like inside. I'll have to move the mic slightly out of the way. Oh my gosh. Ah, there we go. I'll turn the camera back on. Hey, there we go. Let me see. So, an idea of what inside. The attention to detail on the Predator is amazing. Now I've met some of the actors that have been in the Predator suits, and he said that it was one of the most comfortable costumes he's ever worn. And that says a lot for people that wear practical effects, because usually they're incredibly uncomfortable because they're so elaborate. He said that the Predator itself is a very easy one to wear. Look, what else is this? So they were also behind. Can't see that. The aliens in what was that? Alien Nation. That was it. So all the headpieces. That's what those are. They designed those. Anyone remember Alien Nation? I was never a massive fan, I've got to admit, but I definitely remember it being on. James. Fishnet bodysuits. Oh my. Good morning, Captain Spy. Good to see you. Manimal. Cam says manimal. That's a blast from the past. Yes, it is. Not one that I really remember, but yeah, yeah. TV series and the movie. And Louise said she loved Alien Nation. I definitely remember it being on. I don't think I ever watched it all the way through. Alien Nation's great. It'll put you off your milk though. Going Pizza says yes, great series. I have most, if not all, the spin-off novels as well. Oh, I didn't know there was spin-off novels. That's kind of cool. All I know is I remember the movie the most, and then the TV series as well. Alrighty. Let's see. What else could I pull up about him? Alien Nation ended on a cliffhanger, but it tied it up with a few short part of series. Forgot how the aliens used sour milk as alcohol. Yes. I remember that. Uh, so I've just pulled up his IMDb to see if I can get a little bit more backstory on him. And apparently he made a living as a stand-up comedian before moving into makeup effects. That's a really weird transition. I can't quite see the connection between those two. So I'm gonna have to dig deeper into that one. And according to this, the most ambitious film that he worked on was AI, artificial intelligence. Now, if I remember correctly, the teddy bear that they made from that was all remote controlled, so there were no wires or anything going from it. Um, so that's probably one of the most complicated creations that they ever came up with. Yeah, that's a bit of a leap. Yeah, I can't quite see the connection between those two. So I was like, huh, okay. Naughty monkey off. Oh god. Captain Spiral, how salt water dissolved the skin. Yes, I remember they couldn't go anywhere near the near salt water. Yeah, I think I might have to rewatch perhaps down the line Alien Nation because it's seems to be more popular than I remember with you guys. Can you imagine how the show modern day Hollywood would make of Alien Nation? Yeah, I think it's probably best if it never gets remade. Um, but who knows? You know what they're like for remaking TV series or updating TV series. What about you guys? What are your favorite practical effects? What do you guys love? So for me, it was always the dinosaurs. That's the one that kind of really hooked me and made me want to find out, who made these, how much effort had to go into them to see the behind the scenes work on them. Obviously, they had to figure out some of them had to actually have people inside. So the velociraptors were suits controlled by people. Other ones were done by entirely by computer. So they were all programmed. I think the T-Rex was probably at the time one of the most complicated animatronics ever made because it had to have so much movement and because it was filmed unlike the shark in Jaws, you see the T-Rex up close, you see these dinosaurs in daylight, you see them at night, you see them at all times, and the actors have to be able to react off them. Um, Mark says nothing from the 80s until the 90s could be remade now. Yeah, that I agree with. Yeah. Or if it did, they'd mess it up entirely. Alien, the whole world from aliens to the eggs and the mucus they built at their nest, it was all so realistic. It was, yeah. Um, God. When I first saw the eggs open up and to see this thing come crawling out, it's one of the first times where you see an alien and it's not a kind of humanoid alien. This thing is it, obviously it's almost arachnid or crab-like, and you get the idea that this is so far beyond the norm of what we're used to seeing. It is terrifying. And then you see what they do to people, and it gets even worse. I actually have an alien on my stand at the moment. Let's see if I can get it down. There it is. Okay. I had to unhook it because it was hooked onto my microphone stand, but it's one of the. There it is. And it still works. Cobra alien on the Kenner line. One that I'd really like is one of the Queen aliens, so it's on my to get list. Hey, Valkyrie63, welcome. OMG, missed most of the stream again. People need to learn to leave me alone between 11 and 12. I'm sorry, honey. Loki says H.R. Geiger will always be my favourite artist of all time. You have to be a little bit weird to like that guy's work. I'd agree, but the level of detail that he puts into his designs, that's one of the books that I really want to pick up as well. I think there's a compilation of a lot of his work and notes on how he came up with these creations. But that would be fascinating to kind of delve into. Pod Racing Palpatine says I went on the Alien experience in London. The end almost slips in my brother's terror. Yeah, it scared me the first time I saw it. Alien is most definitely a horror film. James Andrew Morrison says, I have a face hugger in a jar, and he says she made it and just printed it and printed a pic and put it in a jar. Oh, thank you, Cam. Yeah, I really like the Kenner figures. I think they're really nicely detailed. And Marky, yes. The use of certain parts of the anatomy by H.R. Geiger. Yeah, you could definitely put an argument there that he is influenced by something. Probably won't say it on air because you'll get my stream pulled, but I definitely agree with you on that one. Oh, thank you, Steve Mitchum. That's really sweet of you. Let me go back a second. Let's see what else I can pull up for you guys. So it says here he worked on Iron Man, so I'm guessing it means the first Iron Man. So I think they were the behind the suit, which is pretty cool. I mean, a lot of that obviously would have been CGI, but the suit itself is a practical effect. And I think as the films got on, they just got more and more elaborate. Good morning, Keely Chow. Good to see you. And say it purple. No, I'm not going to say it, Mark. No, I'll get my stream taken down if I start talking about that. Oops. Oh, yes. And that's no longer there, is it? If I remember correctly, they've gotten rid of the movie ride at Disney. But I do remember that because I remember the alien coming down from the ceiling and kind of steam, well, not steam, but smoke, shooting at you as you passed underneath it. I think what I remember the most though is the dodgy looking Ripley that they put there. Didn't really look much like her, so, but it was close, I guess. But the aliens themselves look fantastic. And Keely Chow says, "What's going on?" I'm just having a chat with the chat and kind of talking about my love of creature creator Stan Winston and why I enjoy him so much. When I was little, actually, it was one of the possible careers that I wanted because I do like to sculpt. Not good enough at it to have gone professional, but I do love to work with clay. So I would have loved to have been able to be one of the people that designed these creatures, to be at the start, to do the maquettes, to do the mock-ups, to kind of get a drawing, say, from somebody and say, bring this to life, you know, can you make this creature from somebody else's imagination? I think that would have been a fascinating job to do. And I see you guys talking about the Princess Bride remake. I hope it never happens because the Princess Bride is just one of those films that should never ever have a remake. It was perfect the way it is, but they do keep surfacing. People keep talking about it, but I fingers crossed we don't get it. Let's just see if there's anything else I can pull up for you guys. Steve Minchin says these days sculpture is done digitally in ZBrush. I know it is, but back when Stan Winston was working, it was all done in clay. So he would, and his artist would do mock-ups of these creatures first, just to get a feel for what they would look like, and they would go through multiple stages. So they'd start off with a concept design and it was like, okay, so this looks good, but this part doesn't work. Can we change it slightly? I think Predator went through several versions before they hit on a look that they really loved. Dee Dee says, would love to see your work past and present if you still miss it. I believe you have more than just one creative talent. Thank you. I'll have to see if I've got anything left still. A lot of the stuff that I made over the years kind of either got thrown away or it got broken as I moved. But I might have a few things that I've made. I'm not very good at drawing or painting, but working with clay I do like to do. And I actually got to talk to when I was in New Zealand, I got to talk to some of the artists at Weta, and they were telling me how they kind of went about making their designs for Lord of the Rings, and that was fascinating as well. So that was a real treat. Thank you. Oh God, no remaking the Princess Bride. It's like remaking the wheel, pointless. Agreed. Yeah, they really do keep pushing it though, so I hope it doesn't happen, for goodness sakes. Just leave it alone. Who clicked the dislike button? Probably somebody who doesn't like Stan Winston, but that's okay. We're not going to judge them. That's fine. So Winston himself was a painter as well as a sculptor, and he was a graduate. That's where he had his basis. I don't know where the whole being a comedian came in. I think that was just kind of like something he did before he went back to his passion, which was clearly artistic based. He was also a an apprentice makeup um, designer for Walt Disney Studios. Um, so he's worked pretty much with all of the greats. He's worked, and I think anyone who ever got to work with him and his studio um, must have been a real treat to get to see them making this. You guys. Let's see. Colin says, while we're on Princess Bride, there's a Valkyrie connection. Our favourite purple shares a birthday with her. Oh, I did not know that. That's pretty cool. That's a cool bit of trivia. Do you mean the character or do you mean the actress who plays her though, Colin? Because I'd have to check that. And Jim the Viking, hey, good afternoon. Good to see you. No, you're not late for the stream. I'm still going for another few minutes, so good to see you guys. Thank you for joining me. See what else I can get for you. Ah, this book is ridiculously heavy. I'm going to see if I can find a really good kind of concept design. See, that's a pretty good one. Okay, it gives you kind of the background of what the alien creatures look like. So let me turn the camera on once more. Hey guys. You can see in the top corner, there's the chest burster alien. So it's all in segments. So this is before they put the skin over it, so you can kind of see the inside of it and the way it moves and bends, which is pretty cool. I think the face hugger is in here, so it kind of gives you an idea of the detail that they went into it. So each of the individual legs is individually controlled. The tail moves, and then in the middle, if I lift that up, you get a good shot at one of the actual aliens itself. I would still love to see in person. Single chord movement, very clever. Exactly. Yep. So basically, it's sort of just one kind of almost like a spine, basically, the way it moves. And then it can be kind of bent from side to side. It can kind of almost curl on itself. And then the mouth part is a separate movement as well. And I think they would have had several versions. So the one that initially comes out of John Hurt's chest is that one that we just saw. So it's just the top half of the creature. But it kind of bursts out and then kind of looks around and snarls. And then the version that kind of jumps off the table and shoots off across the floor is a different version with the tail. Hey, Rob Linden, good afternoon. Good to see you. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. I wasn't sure if anyone was going to be interested in this today. It's it was one that I wanted to talk about because I think sometimes the people behind the camera don't get the recognition or the spotlight that they deserve. Especially someone as influential as Stan Winston, who has worked behind the scenes and has brought so many amazing creatures to life over the years. You know what, Geek Inside? That's exactly what was running through my head. Yeah. And I don't know if that was if they made that version as well. I mean, it's possible that they did, um, or whether it maybe it's perhaps one of the original ones that was just modified. I would have to check, but it definitely looked like one of the original Alien props. But yeah, that's what does Jim say? Papa, I have the book As You Wish from The Princess Bride. It's still not open, but may do it someday in the future. That's pretty cool. I didn't know there was a book. A naughty monkey. No, I'm not teasing you. I just felt a little bit more comfortable off camera today, but because I had something I wanted to show you, I just kind of will turn the camera on and off as I can lift the book up. What I really need is a proper desk that I can rest it on instead of trying to rest it on my lap or my shoulder. And hey, and Polymers Minion, good to see you, sweetheart. Welcome. That's yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to kind of delve into um, someone that's had a big impact on me growing up. Someone that's brought a probably a different level of appreciation to filmmaking. I love to see you know, explosions. You know, it's CGI. CGI can really blow you away. But as we were saying earlier, it should be used to enhance something. It shouldn't just be the sole spectacle on screen. At least I think to be able to have something that's real, that's something tangible, that you can see someone's poured their heart and soul into creating. I think that makes a huge difference. When Purple finally gets talking, she sounds so northern. Oh, is my accent wandering again? Sorry, guys. You have to tell me if I'm talking too fast. I do have a tendency to talk a little bit too quickly sometimes. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate you. Um, it was this was different today. I wasn't sure if I could do it, but I'm very glad that you guys were here to join me. I appreciate you. Let's see. We will be back Sunday, and I've got another guest to join me. So Sammy is still on holiday at the moment, so it'll just be me and my guest. I'm looking forward to that one. Um, I will be back Monday as well with the news, as we always do, and Wednesday too. And I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do Wednesday, so that's a that's up in the air at the moment. But I'll think of something. Mark, reset, posh, and aluminium. There you go. Thank you guys. I believe that Loki has a member stream today, so we'll be there for that later on. And other than that, I just want to say a massive thank you for joining me. You guys are the best, and I really do appreciate you. And if I'm sure we'll see each other around the web over the weekend. But if I don't, have a great time, guys. Thank you, and all the best. Bye.